It's Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined today by Suzanne Fuentes. She is the mayor of El Segundo. Congratulations. Yet again, a finalist for an Eddy, an award given by the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation. You won in 2006. You're a top 5 small city finalist. What does this mean for you and your city?
It means a lot to our city. We were so proud to be the first winner ever of an Eddy. And at that time, there was just one award.
Oh, it wasn't even small and large.
It wasn't small. It was city.
Nice.
Out of 88. So that was huge. And now we're just excited to bring that Eddy back to El Segundo again. We think we're like the Kings. You know, they just brought the Stanley Cup back to El Segundo. So we're going to bring the Eddy back to El Segundo.
I have to ask you, you told me you've lived in El Segundo for a very long time.
Yes.
And I've lived in Los Angeles for a very long time. And I think it's fair to say when we were younger, El Segundo was not the most popular place. It is now amongst the most popular places to live. People are specifically moving to El Segundo. I have cousins who specifically moved to El Segundo. What has happened in the last, is it 10, 20 years, that all of a sudden El Segundo is hot, hot, hot?
We hear that a lot because it is such a wonderful city, and the neighborhoods were very safe.
Right.
We have neighborhoods, like you said, I've lived on the same block 45 years.
I love it.
I'm not the longest lived person.
Really? On your block?
There's 3 families that have been there longer.
Great. That's
and
great.
we look out for each other, and that is just what you see consistently through town. Our schools are top notch.
And that's what I've heard, is your schools have just taken off in the last 20 years. I know my cousin specifically picked El Segundo because close to the airport, he travels a lot, and the schools, and the neighborhoods, and the business, and the restaurants. I mean, it goes on and on.
Right. We have our own police. We have our own fire. Our library is wonderful. Just the quality of life. Our parks. It's really a beautiful place to live.
I have to ask, though, it's fair to say that the South Bay is, as a general proposition, becoming incredibly popular.
Yes.
And so I got to think that all the South Bay cities are kind of competing against each other for business. And so how are you in this era of no redevelopment? How are you able to engage in 100 businesses in 100 years and bring the Los Angeles Kings to El Segundo and all those great things? How are you doing it?
Well, we never had redevelopment.
That's one way. So that's one way.
So we were already used to operating that
Perfect.
way. So our culture is to be business friendly. So we have worked really hard. We work to attract businesses, like you said. We want 100 new businesses before our 100th birthday in 2017.
Okay.
So we have 3 years to bring in 100 businesses.
New businesses.
Yes. But we also have the culture of taking care of the businesses we have there. To me, retention is more important than attraction.
Now, if I'm correct, El Segundo had been a defense center.
Yes.
And suffice it to say, defense took a bit of a hit in Southern California. But El Segundo didn't seem to take a hit. I mean, defense took a dive in the 90s, and that's when El Segundo was taking off.
Right. Well, in 86, 87, you're right, there was a downturn in space and defense. And certainly we lost some of our businesses, but we also looked for other businesses to bring in. And there's so many spin-off businesses from space and defense. We have the Los Angeles Air Force Base, and they are the managers of all the defense contracts, the satellite contracts.
It's just interesting that El Segundo has managed so well when you think about other cities. For example, our friends in San Bernardino, who when Norton Air Force Base left, the city really has not recovered, and yet you had some downturn with defense and space, and you bounced back beautifully.
We did. Well, again, we worked hard at that to keep our businesses. Our culture, and it's not just in the business section of El Segundo. An example I love is 2.5 years ago, we had a measure on the ballot to increase taxes only on the businesses, UUTs. Wouldn't affect the residents at all.
And they said yes.
They voted it down.
Oh, interesting. Her name is Suzanne Fuentes. She is the mayor of El Segundo, a nominee for an Eddy Award. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Time Warner Cable's local edition.